All right, welcome to another episode of Gin and Truth. I'm the captain of this ship, Robert motherfucking Reed. I got a tumble full of Hendrix and mindful of thoughts. Let's go. All right, gang, let's jump into this shit. This one's going to be horrible. I'm not going to lie. It's one that's, you cannot beat this dead horse any more than what it's already been beaten, but we're going to give it a shot. Gang, the meat of today's rotted sandwich is the tired ass talking point that we atheists are mad at God. Now, for the 1 trillionth time, gang, this is how you know Christians do not have conversation. Containing the asterisks, not all Christians, but this is how you know Christians don't have conversations. They read scripts. I'm not going to lie, gang. Again, the age-old Uncle Bobby analogy. If you were an elementary school teacher, and if you had a student that was having this much difficulty grasping simple concepts, it would be your professional responsibility. And I make no jokes about it when I say this. It would be your professional responsibility to hold that child back. You would. All right, Johnny, this is third grade art class. I'm trying to help you, Johnny. When you mix the colors yellow and blue, you get green. Now, every single time I ask that question on the quiz, you say pecan tree. That's not even close. We're talking about two totally different topics. So I'm going to give you another chance, Johnny. You sit your monkey ass over there and you redo the test. Now remember what I just told you. Yellow and blue makes green. 20 minutes later, Johnny comes, hands in his test. You're grading it and you're like, this motherfucker just put pecan trees again. You're like, Johnny, carry your monkey ass over here. Sit your ass down. Now, you can hear me, right, boy? You can hear me, right? Okay, it's good to know. Good talk. Johnny, I actually gave you the answer about 25 minutes ago. Every single time we get to yellow and blue make, you always put pecan tree. I literally just told you that answer. I told you to retake the test only after giving you the answer. You still put pecan trees. Now, Johnny, carry your monkey ass back over there. Son, look at me. You can do this. Yellow and blue makes green. Now go on over there and retake that test. 15 minutes later pass, he puts the paper back on your desk, you're grading it, and you look at him, you're like, I got to hold you back. Johnny, I got to hold you back. Now carry your ass to the counselor. And I'm not joking. We need to test you. There's some neurodivergence. There's some special needs that aren't being addressed here. Yellow and blue make green. Gang, that is just as simple as saying atheists cannot be mad at God because we do not believe in a God. You know what a Christian right now just said? Why are you angry at God? This is what I'm talking about, right? Again, I'm not Mr. Hot to Trot. I'm not turning down debate, discussion invitations, and people aren't just clamoring, you got to get on my YouTube channel. I'm not that special. But this is why I won't talk to them, because they won't talk to me. They talk at me. They just sit there and regurgitate scripts. And when I try to speak for myself, and when I say I mean all of us, we just get the same regurgitated crap. Again, SJ, the creature fucking SJ Thomas, and what a sack of shit she is, gang. And some of y'all are way braver than I am. I blocked her on every possible way I could. She makes social media a worse place to be. She's putrid, absolutely disgusting. Before this instance that I'm getting ready to tell you all about, I told you I did about 2 or 3 coffee talks on her channel. I doubt I still have it. But she gave me her personal phone number once. I was new to Twitter. And again, the whole SJ thing, she's the two-legged, she's the embodiment of the phrase. It's a lot easier to catch flies with honey than it is with vinegar. She's nice. In the very beginning, SJ is your best friend. She had my monkey ass out there on Twitter. Guys, don't be mean to SJ. She's a manipulative sack of shit. Then you start to see who she really is. And you realize she is ugly. I'm not talking about her physical appearance. I'm talking about her insides. She is gross. Well, at this point, we had done, a handful of coffee talks. And every single coffee talk, she asked me, how did I become an atheist? And I told her the story. It's a lot easier to repeat your story when it's true. And gang, at the end of every single explanation on why it is I became an atheist, she said the exact same thing, right? Oh, Robert, you're an atheist because something bad happened to you and you're mad at God. It's like, this bitch. My final coffee talk, I still remember, I just finished a self-defense class. I was driving home and I got on the phone with her and fuckface Craig Reed on one of their her coffee talks. And she asked me the question, how did you become an atheist? At this stage of the game, I was like, SJ, I'm going to tell you the story, but I know where you want to go with this. Don't do it. So I started telling her the story. Again, I get to the middle of the story. I'm like, SJ, I know where you want to take this. Don't do it. I go. I finish my story and I said, SJ, I know where you want to go with this. Don't do it. Now, gang, I would tell you to go look that shit up. Papa, quiet. I would tell you to go look that shit. Papa, stop it. What are you growling at? Shh. Trying to do a show here. Fuck that. Back on down. Well, she took all the interviews down. All the interviews with atheists that gave her some kickback. And again, her channel, she can do what she wants. I finished up. I said, SJ, I know you want to take this. Don't do it. You know what SJ said? Robert, I know you're an atheist because bad things have happened to you and you're mad at God. Go fuck yourselves. Again, that's no digging. I'm this talented. I can tie this in anywhere. Brussels sprouts. How many times have I told people in my personal and professional life, I actually don't like Brussels sprouts? And you'll never guess what, fuck nuts. I've tried them. Duck fat, cow fat, fuckface fat, your fat. I've tried them all. Roasted, baked, raw. Yeah, I've tried it all. And you'll never guess what. I still hate Brussels sprouts. What do I always get? You haven't tried my Brussels sprouts. What do I always say? Let me ask you something there. Fuck nuts. Tell me about your Brussels sprouts. Are they made out of Brussels sprouts? Why, of course. I hate your fucking Brussels sprouts too. When I tell you who and what I am and your only response is you're lying and I'm supposed to talk to you, again, well, why don't you have a conversation with Christians? Why don't you invite them on your show? Because they won't have a conversation with me. Again, they don't talk to us. They talk at us. This is not a difficult concept, gang. Now let's go on over here and let's hit it with the Autobots transform. What do you guys see? This fuckface. Boy, it's been a while since I've seen him. Brian Holdsclaw or whatever. Let's take a look here. Come on. Boy, I tell you what, Texas internet. Okay. Why are atheists angry at God? Brian Holdsworth, 123,000 followers. Gang, 759 thumbs up. Now, you know what really chaps my hide about this dude, other than the fact that I've done shows on him? Catholic. Again, I still always thank everyone who has kicked in on Patreon. Again, those that stayed, those that decided to withdraw, I thank both of you equally. I do. And I thank you. And now that I'm getting this thing back up and running, I'm definitely going to, work on improving my setup. So again, thank you so much. YouTube monetizes his videos. He's a spokesperson for the biggest booty rape factory the world has ever seen. It's not an exaggeration. He cannot spend his YouTube proceeds fast enough. Not only did I get demonetized, I got my channel taken down because I say the word fuck, because I call people out. This sucker makes a defense for pedophiles. Yeah. So let's go ahead and hit it with the blow up she wait. Because I can get on that shit all day long. Now, gang, I'm not going to lie to you. This one is going to hurt. Together, we're going to bleed on this journey. You guys ready? Let's roll the tape. Jesus Christ, internet, come on. Wait for it. Circle's going. Oh, it's not responding, gang. This is sitting on some bullshit. Wait for it. You got to love the Texas internet. I don't even know if this is doing anything right now. Let's just keep talking about Brian Holtzclaw's monkey ass for a while we're sitting here waiting for this to happen. Yeah, this is sitting on some bullshit. Again, let's just talk about the whole Catholic thing. Again, holy shit. The Catholic Church is rich, gang. Rich. Okay, I think we're back. I'm going to keep going real fast. The Catholic Church is rich. And they did not get that way through hard investments, thrifts, and savings. They've been pimping bitches, raping kids, stealing property. That's how the Catholic Church made their bag. And here's a spokesperson that YouTube cannot pay fast enough. This one's going to hurt, gang. Let's roll the tape.
Street evangelist and a crowd of people that he was trying to evangelize. And at one point, an older man introduced his own contribution to the exchange by offering his own version of the problem of pain argument against the existence of God. And his remark was something like, how can God allow 6 million Jews to get murdered during the Holocaust?
Right.
How can he sit by and do nothing when innocent children are...
Pause the tape. I've got no idea what the hell this got to do with angry atheists, but that is a legit question if I've ever heard one. Seriously. You're telling me that your God is all loving. The Jews are his chosen people, but because Jews don't believe in the divinity of Jesus, apparently they're fucked. He sat there and watched his people by the millions get slaughtered by some lunatic named Adolf Hitler. Didn't do a goddamn thing. That's a very legit question, gang. I don't care what anyone says. Roll the tape.
Are abused in horrific ways or die of terrible diseases. And before the evangelist was able to respond, because this was supposed to be an interactive format, the man with the objection turned his back and walked away, refusing to listen to...
Pause the tape. What seems to be the problem? What seems to be the problem? Because there is no back and forth when we talk to Christian apologists. I told you, this is on the campus of the University of Texas at Austin. This is Cliff Conneckley. Why sit and wait for an answer? You know the answer is going to be sitting on some bullshit. Now, obviously, I don't know this man, but if he did nothing, he planted the seed in someone else's head and made them pause and think. But to sit and wait for an apologist to answer that, you know you're just going to get bullshit for an answer. So, yeah, you walk away. Roll the tape.
Whatever answer might come. And it was clear that he was angry. He was gesturing aggressively, raising his voice, and in the end, he was too angry to wait for any kind of a response. And I don't...
Pause the tape. Again, this is conservative Christian 101. That calm equals correct. It does not matter how many times, and no matter how calmly I say 2 + 2 = 54. Doesn't matter how calm I am. And you can call me an idiot, a moron. Doesn't matter. I'm going to keep saying 2 + 2 = 54. Gang, it doesn't matter how calm I say it. I'm still wrong. And this is what they like to stand on. The whole, and Cliff does it, is like, well, I'm not raising my voice. Why can we not have a back and forth? I mean, you are a sodomite faggot, and God's going to torch you forever and fuck you all the way up in ways that you can't imagine. But you're being mad at me. What? Again, calm does not equal correct. It's okay to be emotional. to get triggered, to be upset. When someone's sitting there kicking foolishness, lying to the masses, yeah, it's well within your rights to be mad at that because it's some crap. Roll the tape.
I don't think, and this is based on my own experience, which is quite extensive, that this kind of thing is exceptional. That conversations about the existence of God can evoke this kind of emotional response, which is strange when you really think about it, right? Like, imagine if two pundits were debating who they thought should be, I don't know, like the rookie of the year in Major League Baseball.
Right?
And without really listening to the other person, one of them just spent most of his time and effort personally ridiculing and denouncing the other
No.
person. And then eventually just
No, pause the tape. That's a horrible analogy. Let's roll with that. And let me show them how old I am. So we're going to sit here and we're going to have a discussion. Who is the most valuable player in Major League Baseball? And I sit there, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the argument that Jose Cruz is the best person in baseball. Those 70s and 80s Astros teams could not have done anything without the bat, without the hustle, without the glove of number 25. I mean, hell, if you were in the Astrodome in the 70s and the 80s, your favorite part was when Jose Cruz went up to bat and on that quote-unquote jumbotron, for those it wasn't a jumbotron, and out the bat, number 25, say it with me if you know what I'm getting ready to say, gang, Jose Cruz. Did you guys remember on the jumbotron, CRUUUUUU, and you had to hold it until you saw the Z? He was electric. Jose Cruz, hands down, the most valuable player in baseball. What do you got for me, Christian apologist? And your response is, Pizza sleeps fast under the West there for the munch. That's a more appropriate analogy. It's not that I'm getting mad. I get mad because I thought I was going to sit down and have an adult conversation about baseball, but then you just sit here and start talking gibberish. And when I say, if you do not address the damn topic, come on. Well, what do you mean by valuable? What do you mean by baseball? If there is no God, why is Jose Cruz? Kitty table. Kitty table. So no, his analogy is all kinds of fucked up, right? It's that you guys refuse to address the topic and you just stick to your script. Roll the tape. Or not.
Stormed away without listening to any kind of a response. If you were a witness to that kind of interaction, wouldn't you likely conclude that the enraged pundit was informed more by some personal resentment than reason and logic? And what I find with a significant sample size of atheists, which I've been exposed to in this kind of work, is that they don't just disagree with certain doctrines of religion like Christianity, they hate it in an unambiguous way. The lack.
Pause the tape. Again, this guy, he's telling a half truths, right? Why am I angry? I'll tell you why I'm angry. You're not going to be able to hear it, Christians, but this is why I'm angry. I'm angry because, again, I can't go make groceries sometimes without some group of Christians screaming at me, telling me I'm a sodomite faggot, I'm going to go to hell. That's not why I went to the damn grocery store. It's just not, right? Again, I did not invite you on my front doorstep, and you're not delivering a package from Amazon or anything, but you knock on my door, and you knock on my door to tell me that I'm a piece of shit and I deserve to get hurt, right? That's fucking harassment. I didn't invite you on my fucking front porch. Go fuck yourself. I'm mad because the foundation of Christianity is sitting on some bullshit. Yeah, I think it's real messed up that we teach kids that they deserve to get hurt. I'm mad because I live in a country to where qualified political candidates, you're not going to become president, governor, mayor, all because you say, look, this is a non-topic, right? He's like, go fuck off. I'm mad because people who are qualified to do the job aren't even being looked at because they're not a part of your Christian cool people's club, right? I'm not mad at God His representatives suck. That's why we're mad, dumbass. Roll this fucked up ass tape.
Lack of ambiguity is demonstrated by the consistent habit of relying on condescension, ridicule, and what Chesterton called
Again, pause the tape. Ridicule. So says the guy who's got zero problem looking a stranger in the eye and telling him or her, you're going to burn in hell forever and you deserve it. Now come on to my tax exempt building, get down on some of this Jesus meat and drink his blood, and you still won't be okay. You're a piece of shit. You deserve to get hurt. Tell me where I'm wrong. Roll the tape.
the sneer. They don't just disagree, they consider the thing to be contemptible. And that hatred can compel a person to refuse any possible evidence that might be presented to them, with more than a few leading atheists having admitted this kind of a prejudice. Because what kind of a person trying to position themselves as rational would open a debate by admitting that they are unwilling to consider any possible evidence?
No, pause the tape. Again, this is a script. This is a script. Right? Again, what would it take for you to believe in a God? It's not my job. It's not my job. I'm not defining a God. I'm not saying one exists. No. And then they'll just keep on going, keep on going. It's like, fine, fuck it. Fuck it. I just belch, hashtag unprofessional. Let's stick with SJ. She did this. I said, okay, fine. I'll play along. Make God knock on my door. 2:37 and 14 seconds. That's 3.5 minutes from right now. And make sure God is a redhead. Have God knock on my door, and I will tell you right there on the spot, I believe in God. She laughed at me. Right? Again, a Christian over DM. Right? Said the exact same bullshit. You guys want to know why it is I don't check DMs because of bullshit like this. But this fucker, right? You have to tell me why it is or what it would take. And I say same thing. It's not my job. It's not. Fine, fuck it. Fine. You want to know what it'll take me to believe in God? I'll tell you what. Have God deliver my favorite food on my least favorite day of the week. How about that? Then I'll believe. You know what this Christian's response was? But you think God owes you that? The creator of the universe? He's going to stoop down and deliver you food. You asked me what it would take. So this is what I'm talking about. These are not conversations. This is a script. So far, nothing that has left this man's pie hole has even rhymed with the word factual. Not even close. Roll the tape.
Could be presented for the existence of God, because that would be an admission that this isn't about reason or evidence for them, but rather their own preferences and prejudices. But when pressed on this question, I've seen some leading atheists like Richard Dawkins and Peter Atkins come to mind, admit that there isn't any possible evidence that would persuade them. For example, if they were to witness like a miracle, some event that is impossible without supernatural intervention, which is the only kind of evidence that could exceed reasonable doubt, they would rather conclude that they were hallucinating or had gone insane.
Pause the tape. Isn't that Occam's razor? Usually the most simple explanation is the right one. But again, that's all you guys got, Christians. This is no different than Braxton when he was debating Matt Dillahunty. What if a meteor slammed in the side of a mountain, and after the dust settled, in perfect grammar, in perfect English words that you can understand, Matt Dillahunty, it reads, God is real. Would you believe in the Christian God then? And I can't remember what Matt's response was, but I'm sure it's something along the lines of, no, that's sitting on some bullshit. And then Braxton had the audacity to get his booty hole all knotted up. So how was that reasonable? And my response is, has it happened? Has it happened? Oh, it hasn't? Then if we can just sit here and do this, what if? Again, remember my comeback was, what if? What if? Because this part is factual. My stomach will not have an avocado in it. I don't taste avocados. There's no flavor to it, right? Here, podcasters, you can't see it. This is what eating an avocado is like to me. Podcasters, I just put a clean one, by the way, paper towel on my tongue. It only registers pressure. I can't taste avocados. Even if you were to hide it, and someone has, hide it in a dish, within about 3 minutes of it hitting the bottom of my stomach, I remember, and because this person was nice enough, it was a total accident. She made me nachos. This lady was an amazing cook. I got about a quarter of the way through because I was crushing them. I was like, did you put avocados in these? Gang, I rushed to the toilet. It's that puke to where, you're crying. You got that thick snot coming out of your nose. I'm serious. When I eat avocados, my body, it is a contest to see how fast they can expel it. Now, let's say I voluntarily eat an entire bag of avocados, just crush the shit out of them. And I am puking like Jeff Goldblum from 1986's The Fly. And there's so much stomach acid coming out that it's just burning my fucking wall. And I'm videoing it, all right, because I want you to see this, because I want you to deconvert. Now, after that, when the stomach acid stops eating through the fucking walls and you wipe all the puke and stomach and bile off my wall, it reads, Christians, grow the fuck up. There is no God. Get on with your fucking life. You're fine as is. Let me ask you something there, Christians. If that happened, would you stop believing in God? What's the difference? Because that's all they do to us. Come on, gang, roll the tape.
Then admit that something supernatural had actually occurred. And of course, this standard of skepticism, which I would claim is unreasonable, can be applied to anything. If I hate the idea that the earth is round and the possibility of it being round agitates me to the point of anger and contempt for those who disagree.
Yeah, pause the tape. This is so bad of an analogy. First and foremost, we can prove without a debate that the earth is round, that it's not flat. Christians, if there was one fraction of that kind of evidence for your God, you would crush atheism in half a second flat. You would. But more importantly, it doesn't matter whether you believe the earth is flat or round. It's not going to just absolutely fist fuck your social standing the way, being an atheist is. Right? I mean, okay, you believe that the earth is flat. Well, it's actually round. Well, I think it's flat. Well, I'm a round earther. So as a result, after you die, something really bad is going to happen to you. That's not how it works. At this stage of the game, getting through this video, it's just a contest of wills. This dude is sitting on some bullshit. This is horrible. Roll the tape. Shit.
Agree with me? Then any evidence, even evidence that I experienced firsthand in support of this claim, is something that I could just chalk up to the failures of my own faculties of perception. Like my eyes and my brain are simply deceiving me. And if I did that, wouldn't that be evidence of my own irrationality on this subject? Yes, it would. Which is why atheists who demonstrate such animosity towards theism and who refuse to allow any evidence to be presented to them should be treated in the same way. These are not rational people offering reasonable degrees of skepticism.
No, pause the tape. That's not true at all. It's not. We're very rational. And the fire that you hear coming out of our belly is because we're frustrated. Again, Cy Tim Bruggencate, I do not care about any of the bullshit. I want to talk about these motherfucking lies. Let's talk about your lies, Cy. Pizza sleeps fast under the West, therefore the Mudge. I sat there and I told fuckface Chris, I think it's violently inappropriate that you sit here and you use the topic of rape as a debate topic. You're going to try to trump my, logic, my experience with these ladies. And this is how you're going to win a debate and prove, well, if there's no God, what's wrong with just raping 17 bitches? What you hear is frustration. And again, this is why I won't talk to these suckers. What's the point? This is actually just projection. Because the truth of the matter is, the people who do not change with new information are the Christians. It's not us. It's them. You understand that evolution, it's not a debate topic anymore. It's not a debate topic. And your refusal to accept that does nothing to rock the foundational pillar of science, and that is evolution. God created the world in 6 hours. Shut the fuck up. Go grow up. What you are hearing is frustration. Because again, I'm looking at a man, an entire grown-ass man, and he's just sitting and kicking the bullshit. Regurgitated talking points that have been corrected 5 million times before I cut this damn video. Come on, gang, roll the tape.
These are people motivated by emotions and personal animus, and to whatever degree that they invoke their rational faculties, it's at the service of their emotions and prejudices rather than the other way around. What I think is going on with a lot of the people who rail against the existence of God and anyone who supports that claim is described by C.S. Lewis in his autobiography, recounting the inconsistency of mind and heart that he suffered with when he was an atheist. He says this: I was at this time living like so many atheists or anti-theists in a whirl of contradiction. I maintained that God did not exist. I was also very angry with God for not existing. I was equally angry with him for creating a world.
Okay, pause the tape. Okay. Again, this yellow and blue makes pecan trees. You guys jerk off to C.S. Lewis because he continues to regurgitate the same bullshit that you guys all regurgitate. I maintain that God did not exist. I was also very angry with God for not existing. I was equally angry with God, with him, capital H, of course, for creating a world. Then C.S. Lewis wasn't an atheist. Period in the story. I was also very angry with God for not existing. I was equally angry with him for creating a world. That means you believed in a God in the fucking first place. Right? You guys walk in and I'm just fucking long stroking the shit out of somebody. I'm just rearranging their guts right here and I'm filming it. Right? And I'm just getting ready to bust a nut. I'm about to break my spine doing it. And you're like, Uncle Bobby, you're doing some fucking. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm a virgin. I'm a virgin. You're not a virgin, Uncle Bobby. Go fuck yourself. By definition, when you are inside another human being and you are long stroking, you don't get to call yourself a virgin. That's not how this works, right? That's C.S. Lewis. I was angry at God. Then congratulations, you were not an atheist. Roll the tape.
And that's reminiscent for me of another quote by G.K. Chesterton when he said, the worst moment for an atheist is when he's really thankful and has no one to thank. And that's true enough, but the reverse.
Pause the tape. Go fuck yourself. When my kidneys failed and I almost died, I thanked the doctor who saved my life. I remember there was a continuing ed class that was kicking my ass. And I wanted this credit. I wanted to learn this information. And it's one of the many reasons why it is I love my boss. He helped me. He helped me study for it. I got a B. I passed like a motherfucker, right? I thanked him. And some of the shit that he taught me on, how to study, that was 4-5 years ago. I still use the mind maps and whatever the fuck he called it. I thanked him. Again, these are talking points. Talking points. Give me a break. Roll the tape.
Verse, I think, is also true for a lot of atheists, in which they find themselves outraged about some perceived injustice in the world, but have no one to direct their complaint to. As a Christian, I believe that God cares about my prayers, and so there have been times when I've complained to him, I've raised my objection, and I also firmly believe that he honors those moments. He doesn't just rebuke me or smite me for it. He receives those strained expressions and interacts with them and leads me towards some kind of understanding about it. But the atheist in the clip that I saw is distressed by historical events like the Holocaust and the seemingly arbitrary suffering of innocent people and children. Well and good, so am I. But my objections make sense in light of the fact that I believe in God who exists. If you don't believe there's anything more than matter and motion or the physical universe, on what grounds do you have to say that the world and the events captured in time should have been another way?
Pause the tape and go fuck yourself. That's what I'm talking about, gang. These are tired talking points. And I've made shows on this topic, right? Again, we just have different priorities, right? Well, by what objective standard can you call rape wrong? I don't even care to have this conversation. Now shut the fuck up and go watch me teach 20 women at a time how not to be raped. Well, is it objectively wrong? I'm going to go do my job. You sit in your little fucking circle and you jerk off all over yourself because an atheist wouldn't say the word objective. You're not getting your hands dirty. Christians, you're not. This is what's important to you. Winning debates, making these fucked up ass videos, right? Well, at least I can call the Holocaust objectively wrong. Every fucking Jew that was tortured to fucking death, if they can come back and hear this, they would say, "What? How does this help me?" I was separated from my family. I watched them tear me away from my fucking 6-year-old. I never saw her since. They tortured me to fucking death. And when I was dead, they stripped me butt naked, put me smack dab in the middle of a pile of hundreds of bodies. They just bulldozed us into this fucking pit, covered us in lies and covered us with dirt. But you said it's objectively wrong? Christians, your priorities are just all kinds of fucked up. They just are. Roll the tape.
Which is what we're doing when we make moral objections.
Here we go.
To say that things should be other than they are is to accuse the physical universe of being other than what it should be. How can you say that if the physical universe is all that there is? Like, if I were playing a video game and
pause the tape, whatever fucking analogy he's getting ready to kick is going to be sitting on some bullshit. Again, there are atheists that believe there's more than the physical universe. All atheism does is speak to one thing and one thing only, and that is, do you believe in a God? I had a Christian block me in my early days of Twitter because I accused him of being an atheist, right? Yeah, Christian's funny. No, it's not. How you don't like it when we speak for you, but apparently it's okay for you to speak for us. The only difference is I've got way more ability to say that I'm right. Fuck around. Again, Christians, you're so arrogant. You think atheism begins and ends with, I don't believe in the Christian God, right? You don't believe in Poseidon. Poseidon is a god. What does that make you? Your response? Pizza sleeps fast under the kitty table. Kitty table. This is what I'm talking about. It's just one of this fucked up ass tape. I hate this guy.
it had fixed rules and
keep going.
governing
All
those rules, and
does
something happens that I don't really like in the game. I might object and say that it shouldn't have been configured that way. Should have been a different way. But when I do that, I'm appealing, perhaps in a futile way, to the game developers.
Okay,
I'm saying they should have done this differently. But if there was no game developer, if the game was all that there was, on what grounds would I have to say it should have been made differently? That would be an entirely irrational sentiment. And atheists who express outrage about their moral misgivings are basically doing this. To rephrase Chesterton's remark, the worst moment for an atheist is when he is really angry about some injustice and has no one to direct his complaint. All he can do is
pause the tape. That's not true. It's not true. When one of those little girls, like in my last one, it's going to be one of those moments that just gets etched in my brain forever. I'm mad at the motherfucker that did that to that child. I don't need a God to be able to have that stance. I don't. The exact same God that you're jerking off because apparently you've got the ability to say something is objective. Congratulations. I don't even give a shit. That little girl, that won't bring her an ounce of comfort. Not an ounce. Not an ounce. But I know what's important to you, Christians. So I don't, again, this is why I don't talk about this with you. We care about two totally different things. I want to stop bad things from happening. You want to pray about it. You want to debate about it. And you want to sit here and act like, fine, you won. You won. You won your own little contest because your contest includes, at least I can say that it was wrong. I have an objective moral standing. God gave me the ability to say the Holocaust. I can complain to God. Great. Your God did nothing to stop it. Nothing. He's the ultimate accomplice to crime. The person who robs the bank is just as guilty of a crime as the person who drives the getaway car. That's your God. He has gone shotgun in every drive away from every crime ever committed in the history of the known universe. And you guys are happy to praise him. So go ahead. I think it's just sitting on some bullshit. Roll the tape.
Just shake his fist at the sky and never get any satisfaction for it, because according to his own beliefs, the sky will neither listen nor care, making it an irrational thing to do. But if you feel this relentless impulse to judge the events that occur within space and time and say they should have been otherwise, which I would argue that every single human being has done, isn't that evidence that there is something more than space and time? Isn't that evidence of a moral law that indicates that somehow the material world we live in is not realizing its fullest potential? And if so,
Here we go.
well, then what is that potential if not something that exists outside of space and time? It makes way more sense to believe in the supernatural, which is that which transcends and exceeds the natural or the physical universe.
Pause the tape, gang. This is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And I'm really just sitting over here. I'm over here scrolling through Twitter right now. Seriously. It makes more sense to believe in the supernatural. You don't believe that. I am telling you, you don't believe that. Go fuck yourself. That is Belch, hashtag unprofessional. I know this because when rubber meets the road, when push comes to shove, when it's nut cutting time, you rely on reality. You do. Like I said, your kid is rolling 105-degree body temperature, absolutely delirious, not bleeding from their nose. It is spouting from their fucking nose. Your kid is a hurting ass dog. You're not going to rely on the fucking supernatural. You're going to the ER. When push comes to shove, you lean on reality just as hard as the rest of us do. Roll the tape.
When we are held captive by these kinds of sentiments, on a daily basis, we can't avoid doing that. If you think the problem of pain is unresolvable, that doesn't mean that the supernatural or that God doesn't exist, just that you aren't morally aligned with it or with him. But you can at least then level your complaint in a rational way rather than just denouncing the universe of which you are a mere contingent part and of which doesn't care about your complaint. Can I ask you to stick around for one extra minute?
Pause the tape in the tape. That's how he's going to end this? Can't get this fuckface off my screen. Again, we just care about two totally different things. What's most important to this motherfucker? Being able to complain to his God. Okay, fine. But all the bad shit that keeps going on, some of us go in there and we break our backs, we get our knuckles bloody, we go in there, we chip in, and we actually try to help and do some actual good. Not this sucker. No, what's most important to him is to be able to say, hey, at least I can go fuck yourself. Okay, Uncle Bobby's only giving you one big motherfucking problem. So as a result, Uncle Bobby's giving you one big motherfucking solution. The thought that atheists are angry at God, shut the fuck up. You only say that when you're trying to win a debate. It has been said 14 billion times before. I'm as angry at your God as I am the Joker and Lex Luthor. I don't believe in your God, so I'm not angry at your God. And again, you don't have a moral standing by which to call anything wrong. You're an atheist. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Right? Well, that's your worldview. It's actually not. And your only response is, you're lying. Yes, it is. Now, I want you to defend the stance that atheism is your worldview. And you wonder why it is I won't waste my time talking to them. Because again, they don't talk to me. They talk at me. And I know that because no matter how many times I tell these idiots that 2 + 2 is 4, no matter how many times I tell these idiots that yellow and blue make green, they always give me the wrong answer. And then parade around like I got it right. Yellow and blue does make pecan trees, Uncle Bobby. Didn't you not know that? Straight to the point. Atheists are not mad at God on the account that we don't believe your God exists. Now, that's not a difficult topic. And anything past that just simply proves me to be right. Christians, you don't talk to us, you talk at us. All right, gang, the big guy told you long enough. He's signing the fuck off. Gin and Truth, let's go. Gang, that one really hurt my feelings.